Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today we're going to get between the raindrops out here, and we're going to work with a 3 giant Sequoia bonsai forest. My buddy in South Africa, SJ, said, "Why don't you do a giant Sequoia planting?" And I was like, "All right, perfect," because I had germinated 3 out of 8 seeds from Muir Wood's little grow kit that I brought back from San Francisco this past year. So they grew up, they're looking nice, they're starting to branch, and I'll show you that. And we'll pick out a pot. That's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all, so you see this little grow kit that I got. It was pretty cool. It came in a little metal tube, had, you know, some graphics of a giant Sequoia on it, and you can check that out on the playlist labeled Muir Woods Giant Sequoias. So here they are. There's 3 in there. Kind of difficult to see because it's misting today, so there's some humidity levels, but there you go. So they have a nice start. I left them in there longer than the recommended amount of time because I have germinated a ton of trees and then gone to transplant too early, and they died. So I wasn't willing to risk it with these. So I think this is a good time to do that. All right, y'all. So I picked today's backdrop between the raindrops because my buddy Ian in Belfast, Ireland, Back Garden Bonsai, if you haven't checked out his channel, you should. He's awesome. He had made a comment about this star magnolia behind me yesterday, so that's what it is. They're just budding out now. They're big, beautiful white flowers that represent like a starburst, so hence the name Star Magnolia. And most magnolias you would think of are pink or pink and white. Then there's the southern magnolias with those huge, dark, deciduous leaves, and then they have even larger, big white puffs. So this kind of reminds me of back in the South. When I used to live down in South Carolina. So anyways, that's our prize Star Magnolia. It'll be full and white in about a week, and it'll remain that way for a week to 2, and then it makes a hell of a mess. But anyways, I had a few pots to choose from today since I had 3. I had some what are those things? The Canary Island date palm trees that I had transplanted in here. They did not make it. So I've tried cuttings in this, and I have tried to transplant some date palm trees into here, and both were a fail. So this is becoming the planting of death. So it's just a nice copper tray and 3 copper pots. So I think I'm actually going to make this into a little herbaceous herb mix for Laura to bring in and outside for the kitchen. Maybe some basil, oregano, and parsley, flat leaf Italian parsley. So this isn't going to be what we're going to use. I did have a pineapple guava tree that I had transplanted into here out of nowhere. That thing just withered up and died, and I thought maybe it was dormant, but it did not come back. So I'm thinking we're going to use this pot, and it has a little bit of some, I guess this is from all the water, maybe iron deposits or calcium or something like that just builds up. So it's minorly attractive on the base when you get that aging, but the buildup of that stuff, that's just nasty. So I have a pot over here with a little double-sided sponge with some warm water and some all-natural dish liquid. So I'm going to scrub that up, and then we're going to get these 3 giant sequoias placed into here. I'm thinking I may do them as a clump to not mess with their roots too much, and then just kind of strategically prune them and maybe manipulate them a little bit to grow in a certain way. But we'll see once we get in there. If they come apart relatively easily, maybe we'll do like a little triangle pattern. So just have an old takeout tray over here. Actually never used it as a takeout tray. I use it as a seedling, little seed starter. So what I do is I put holes in the top one to stab through with a nice pointy knife, and then I sit it in the second one, and that acts as a drip tray when you're starting seedlings. So this mixture is some peat moss, some moisture control topsoil, and some perlite. And then these little yellow pearls here, that's the 6-month Osmocote time release fertilizer. So I really like that stuff. I use that, and then I use this organic blue chemical fertilizer every 3 weeks. And that's like a 20-20-20 mix. And I dilute it in half, so it's more like a 10-10-10, just a general. So it goes on all of my plants, cacti, succulents, and every variety of tree. All right. Nice thing about doing this outside is I can make all the mess I want. So if you've been following Jarhead Bonsai at the ranch, I just completed a 500 white spruce tree farm. And I added a vegetable and fruit bed yesterday as well. But the beautiful thing is I haven't squared away what my irrigation system is going to look like permanently for the tree farm, because the trees came 10 days early and just totally caught me off guard, you know. So luckily I woke up to all the rain barrels being full because we got a nice heavy pour last night. Alright, so that's the base. See, it's coming off relatively easily. I'm just using the side that has the scratchy surface, textured. I don't think I would use a metal scoring pad with this because it might strip the paint off. And I mean, if you're looking for a textured aged look, maybe you might want to experiment with that, but I'm just looking to rehab this thing to basically when I got it. So this already has an aged look to it, so it's hard to tell what's accumulated from the water and what's supposed to be there. So I think that's about it. It's got that nice antique-y look. Love the pot. I just haven't had any success with the things going in this one either. So we'll get a base layer back in here. If I had bonsai soil, I would probably go straight bonsai soil right now, either the mixture from the bonsai supply or pumice and perlite, which I really enjoyed working with because I like that completely white top. Just looks nice and clean. Okay, so we got the base layer. Let's take a look at how big these roots are. They can't be too big. I don't even know how to get into this thing. Oh, jeez. This is going to be one of those deals where, okay, there we go. I was worried I was going to end up freaking shattering it. So let's see if we could just kind of work around the sides and let it fall into our hand here. There we go. Boom. One piece. All right, so this is actually ideal. And now, if these were more mature trees and we were doing a repotting, I would totally want to get up in these roots. But since... Oh! It came off. Okay. Well, let's see if the other two will come apart easily. Okay, so really no deep roots at all, so we're able to separate them right away. I was concerned that they would be really young but intertwined, and I just didn't want to mess with the root system and then lose these trees on the first transplant. So nice. Okay, so we'll make this right here. Well, you want the largest one in the front, so we'll switch these two. This seems to be the dominant guy. I'll put this over here. Boom, boom. So what I want from these is to grow them very vertically and then probably stop them about here and develop a lot of vertical ramification. When we were out at the Muir Woods, I really encourage you to go back on this playlist and look at the tour of the Muir Woods with all of the coastal redwoods and giant sequoias. It was just a really great environment, and we had a little shot of us driving in a Ford Mustang convertible over the Golden Gate Bridge, which coincidentally is the most photographed bridge in the world. Really cool trip. I highly recommend it. If you're making your trip across the pond after this whole coronavirus thing is done, and you want to check out some cool spots in the United States, I highly recommend San Francisco, California. I'm on the complete other side of the U.S. We're in the Northeast, which has its own beautiful forest, but it was a bucket list for Laura and I to get out there, and it was a really cool trip. So this is a pretty light soil mix. It's not straight bonsai soil, but since these are so young, I'll probably be repotting them and restyling. Maybe not repotting this time next year. Maybe this time next year I'll be doing a pruning, and then the following year I'll probably repot. All right, like that. And I'm just gonna offset this into the backdrop. Boom, boom. Okay, so we're supposed to get a little bit more rain today. So since the soil that these were in was nice and moist, I'm just going to leave it and let it get that natural rain. So actually, I will take that out of the drip tray. You never want to have your trees in drip trays when they're outside and it's going to rain. They'll just friggin' drown. That might be common sense to most, but you'd be surprised. All right, cool. All right, y'all, so that's going to do it for us today here at Jarhead Bonsai. Hope you enjoyed your time at the ranch. I just had to wipe down Franny's ballet flooring because it is almost time for her virtual class. So not a bad view for her. That's the tree farm there in the back. And then just on this side of it, you'll notice that white headboard. That is the active trellis for some beans and other fruits and vegetables planted down there. And then this other raised garden over here that houses some already grown spruce trees that were the overflow from the tree farm, and it has cold stratified walnut, oak, maple, and pine trees from this winter. So a lot going on here, lots of fun. Hopefully the weather turns around and I catch a nap on that hammock today. But go ahead, stay positive, y'all. Enjoy your time. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I really enjoy that. And if you haven't subscribed and hit the notification bell yet, please do so. Take care.